Chetan Bhutani from the Business Today also joins us. Chetan, thank you very much. Firstly, do try and explain to us, why is this deal good for the common Indian? How is it going to benefit me?
Well, very appropriate question at the right time. In fact, to inform our viewers, we are expecting the formal statement to come from both India and the UK sides at 1 p.m. London time. That would be approximately about 5:30 to 6 o'clock in the evening. We are expecting the formal statement and the details along with the annexures to come out. But yes, how does it impact the common man? To answer your question, how does it impact you and me when we expect the England-made cars to become a whole lot cheaper in India? Remember, the India's import duty on import of cars amounts to nearly about 100%, but now we would get England-made, UK-made cars very substantially cheap. We would have a 10% duty only under special arrangements, wherein the car manufacturers would be allowed to be importing certain number of vehicles and models as per the requirements. However, for the alcohol and the beverage industry, it's a very big win. We will expect Scotland-based, England-based whiskies, gin to become a whole lot cheaper in the country. In fact, for malt-based whiskies as well, we expect a big market to open up for the Indian market as well. As far as the UK is concerned, India would be definitely be investing more and more of farm goods and equipment in England, as vis-a-vis we will expect more and more of F&B industry and the dairy industry to open up in India as well.
Okay. Pranay, with this kind of deal now going through between India and UK, where, as Chetan pointed out, the automobiles were on agenda, and also the whiskey was on agenda. And why I'm bringing this up is because I'm going to contrast this with America now. So let's talk diplomatically. America also pushes its bourbon. It's been pushing its whiskey onto Europe as well. So now, how is it going to work for India and America deal? Because this will become optics for that as well.
Definitely, Manjari, this will become a template for the future negotiations. India is already negotiating a free trade agreement with the European Union. Even this will have a bearing and an impact with the bilateral trade agreement negotiations with the United States, because we are quite close in that, but we haven't sealed that arrangement as yet. The negotiations are still in a very advanced stage. So this will work as a template, because India will say that ultimately any trade agreement or any trade arrangement works on the market forces, on availability and on the supply lines. If India is getting a cheaper and a better product from the UK market, then obviously that product will prevail over any other US product. So now US also has to understand the dynamics, because ultimately India is a big market in terms of the population, in terms of the purchasing power. So that's why US also want better and a greater access in Indian market, and that is the reason why why President Donald Trump is insisting on the tariff lines, because he want to exercise that power, as Chetan was also pointing it out, in terms of the benefit India is going to get after this India-UK FTA. This clearly shows that how India is now asserting the power of being a big market, a big economy, and how we are able to establish that now country want to deal with India. We know that earlier EU stalled the negotiations with India. Right. Our experience with FTA has not been very good so far, because we had an FTA with ASEAN. That was the first region with which we have FTA, but right. The service sector was not included in it. We ended up opening our market for the ASEAN products, especially the ASEAN goods. But now with this thing, the service and the goods sector both have been balanced. India has over 60% of the service sector in the part of our economy. So our service sector will also get greatly benefited out of this FTA, Anjali.
Right, absolutely. And India is one of the largest markets for any product. So definitely this is going to benefit the UK companies as well. But Chetan, if we talk about India's exports to UK, now one major thing that Pranay also picked up was textiles. And we have seen India, which was once a leader, has lost its space to Bangladesh. And, now, with the tariffs being cut, of course, the UK citizens will have cheaper clothes to wear, but Indian brands, Indian manufacturers also, who are making for other brands as well, could also really benefit from this.
Well, absolutely. Pranay is absolutely right. In fact, when it comes to tariff elimination across export sectors, we'll see about 80 to 85% of Indian exports to the UK. Nearly all trade value will be almost duty-free. We'll be in fact, more than textiles, we'll be also being seeing movements and developments across leather sector, footwear, gems and jewelry, engineering goods, auto parts, toys, furniture, chemicals, and marine products as well. Why is it good for the Indian manufacturing industry as well? Because Indian MSMEs exporters are set to gain strong price competitiveness, particularly in labor-intensive categories. And with the when FTAs are signed, they are actually expected to double the bilateral trade. So we are expecting, and government has in fact gone on record to say that the double trade treaty would in fact form about $120 billion by 2030, from currently 55 to 60 billion dollars. In fact, lastly, I'll also like to highlight for our viewers that service access and professional mobility will also be impacted. We'll see Indian professional and IT sector, finance, education, and culinary arts and creative sectors open up greatly between both the countries. So yes, along with social security, services access, and of course tariff elimination, this is a win-win situation for both the countries.
Right, absolutely. And joining us now also is Surbhi from Business Today. Thank you very much, Surbhi. We've been talking about the benefits of this FTA for both countries, but I also want to bring in another sector which is very important for the youth of today, and that is education. And we have recently seen one of the universities opening up its campus in India, a UK university, and the MEA had also mentioned that that is one pillar that will be discussed between the two countries. So what are the sectors that will get impacted, which will benefit socially also as far as the larger population is concerned?
So we are still waiting for the text of the treaty, but yes, from the conclusion of the talks on May 6, what we have seen is that it's obviously going to lead to greater mobility, especially for skilled professionals, as well as more flexibility for students who wish to study in the US, Indian students who wish to study in the UK. And of course, there is the social security angle where Indian skilled professionals who go to the UK, they will be exempt from paying social security there for a period of 3 years. But we are still waiting for the final text to be released.
Right, Surbhi. Are there any other sectors that you would like to mention that will impact Indians socially in terms of as you were mentioning, in terms of jobs, in terms of economic benefits?
Oh yes, so this FTA is expected to give a lot of boost to Indian professionals who go to the UK for visas. Like, it can be anywhere from things like being a chef to a yoga teacher, any kind of skilled professional. However, we must remember that on the tricky issue of, law as well as CAs, which is chartered accountants, there has not been any, further movement in the FTA negotiations on that, and that had been kept aside. But for yes, all other kinds of skilled professionals, whether they're IT sector professionals or anyone else, this FTA is going to open up a lot of opportunities for them.